everybody. I wanted to talk about today about the migraine threshold. I think it's something that everybody should be aware of, especially when you're suffering with recurrent attacks. What it is, just so you can understand the logic first, is almost like a limit of how much your body can take the different stressors or triggers before it can produce a migraine attack. So in basic terms, if you were to imagine like a large vase and that you're trying to fill it up with, little balls and then larger balls or maybe some water, those are the different types of triggers and challenges or issues that your body is not necessarily accepting very well. Well, one could be, as we talked about it in last episode, lack of sleep or poor sleep. So if you're not sleeping enough, or even though you're sleeping enough, you're not sleeping well, then that could be a trigger that it's signaling that this base that I was mentioning is starting to fill up. A next trigger could be stress. Maybe you're having too much work. Maybe you don't like your boss. Maybe your coworkers are being challenging. Maybe you have a fight with your husband or your special person. So those type of things are going to be adding on top and basically filling up this bowl with something else. If on top of that, let's just imagine that you have sensitivity to caffeine, or let's say avocado or all cheeses, which contain some of the major triggers for migraines. Then if you had, cheese for lunch or a sandwich with avocado or something to that extent, you're basically signaling your body, or your body is starting to signal, I've had enough, it's too much. And basically it's going to trigger a migraine attack at that point in time, because you kind of had way too many things that your body is not necessarily accepting, just because of your condition. A migraine is unfortunately a neurological condition that it cannot be cured. But managing the threshold is something that can help alleviate some of the symptoms, and definitely help you manage the number of attacks that you experience in a week, in a month, or in a year. Because then you're basically trying to give your body a break, if that's a better way to put it. So you're letting your body kind of rest, letting your body manage certain things at its own pace, and then you're not creating that space where everything is just adding on top of this bowl that I was mentioning before. So for the threshold, every time that you surpass it, I think everybody's different. In my case, it was really hard to calm it down. In certain cases, I had to eliminate every single thing that was difficult for me to handle. So I had to eliminate coffee. I had to make sure that every single day I went to bed, at the same time that I do my best for my sleep routine, so I can have a restful sleep. I tried to incorporate some breathing exercises and some meditation and even yoga to help me relax, because my job was very, very stressful. So I try to do every single thing that I could possibly think of to eliminate as many triggers as possible. And then at that point in time, it's almost like, your body calms down and then goes back to kind of a reset. And then you kind of start from a lower level of, let's say the threshold, gets a little bit bigger, because your body's not in this kind of stressor mode at this time. So when you're able to manage it and try to maintain it, below the threshold, then you're definitely going to experience less attacks, or maybe some attacks with less intense symptoms. And then you can start, experiencing a better quality of life for sure, and understanding your body better. I think that's probably the biggest piece. So I'm speaking to everyone as if they already know what the triggers are for their own body. I think that's probably the biggest challenge, or the biggest task at hand or objective. You need to understand what triggers you. So I think I would recommend you can either buy a journal. I have a couple in, or more than a couple in Amazon. You can look for, the ones that I created by Foggy Brain Migraine in Amazon, or you can just buy, a simple notebook, or even your phone if you prefer, and start writing down as many things as you can think of that are going to help you evaluate what makes your body, jump. So you need to, it's a lot of tests, at the very beginning, because you need to see, I used to write down, I consumed like 4 cups of coffee today. I had a challenging day at work and things like that. Just so I can understand, let's say if by day 5 I get hit by a migraine attack, I can go back to, day 1 to 4 to see what I did. Maybe I drank too much coffee. Maybe I didn't control my stress very well. Maybe I had a really bad sleep, for a couple of nights, or maybe I was not sleeping at all. You truly need to understand what your body is telling you, and what are the things that are impacting, the migraines, and setting you over the threshold, because that's the only way that you can mitigate and control those areas. If when you're journaling, you cannot really see what's going on, and you cannot pinpoint to something that it's very specific, which it was kind of my case. I eliminated everything, every single thing. So I took I think I mentioned this in my previous video, the Heal Your Headache book. It has a very comprehensive list of everything that could be considered a trigger. Doesn't necessarily mean that is a trigger for you, but if you truly don't know, maybe that's an approach that you can take. Eliminate everything, and then stay that way, which is, I would say, somewhat tough, because you need to figure out how to best manage the limitations, and try to focus on what you can have in terms of food and drinks and things like that. And then stay there for at least, I would say, 3 months, until your body kind of goes back to this reset mode that I was talking about. And then you can start reintroducing things, one at a time. But take your time. Don't jump all the way back to, I'm just, I feel good, I'm gonna go back to take everything, and then, what's gonna happen is actually you're gonna get hit with a migraine attack. So then that way you basically have to spend time, probably a good 6 months, trying to see what can trigger your body to react, and then that way you can pinpoint the 3-5 things that you should be managing every day, so you can hopefully reduce the number of attacks and the severity of the attacks at any time. I think that's probably the biggest help that you can do to yourself, is understanding your body, understanding what triggers you, and definitely once you do that, then you can manage, and then you can implement this threshold theory to diminish as best as you can the major triggers, so you can have, let's just call it normal life. I hate to call it normal, because it does not mean that we're not normal. It's just manage our condition, let's put it that way. So that's it for now. As always, please subscribe, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you.